Hello guys and welcome here to the Jello Cup Series race number 34 from Watkins, Glen. Something's a little different here. Can't... Oh man, I think it's the boot. Yes, it's the boot for today's Go Bowling 355 at the Glen, and we've got Austin Shaw here with us.
What's going on?
Austin, the boot will present a whole new challenge. You've seen some races. I believe you've been to the Salem 6 hours before.
Yep.
What can these drivers expect with the boot today?
A lot of different dates. Makes the track a lot longer. It's a lot narrower in the boot than it is on the actual track itself.
Yes,
So we'll see.
and I believe it's the heel that's the exit
Yep.
of the boot, and that's probably the most narrow part that these guys are going to have to deal with. Obviously, I'm guessing we're going to see a lot of runoff and
Yep.
maybe some guys into the guardrails if we're not careful.
Mhm.
And we will see what happens. It provides a whole new challenge for these playoff drivers. Some of these guys have seen the boot already because the Carvana Wildcard Series, but they have not seen it on the Jello Cup side of things. So there's going to be a lot of guys who pretty much have their rookie stripes, in a sense.
Absolutely.
Even veterans that have rookie stripes today, because this is a whole new challenge for them. And we can't wait to bring it to you here. Obviously, it's been rumored for years that the Cup would go on the boot,
I
but
hope they do.
I hope so. See, my opinion has always been if IndyCar can do it, NASCAR can do it, because IndyCar's wider.
Yep.
But also, these cars are a lot more bulky than an Indy car, so I'm assuming it would take a lot of track adjustments to make that happen.
Absolutely it would.
By making some of these lanes a little bit wider for them. So I don't know if that'll happen in our lifetime, but who knows. We saw Sonoma go back to the carousel, so that's a possibility.
Possible.
But we will see. Anyway, this is the Jello Cup Series. This is Watkins, Glen, and we'll be right back in just a moment.
Here is a lap at Watkins Glen International in New York. Down the front straightaway, down the first gear for the 90, up the gears, up the second, up the third, through one of the challenger parts of the course is the S's. You gotta get key to hit these apexes. Up the fourth gear, onto the backstretch. Down, part of the brakes down the second gear, into the bus stop. Up the second, up the third, around the carousel. Then onto the boot. Hard on the brakes for the toe of the boot. Long sweeping left-hander. Up the gears to the heel of the boot, which is a long right-hander. Key to maintain pace. Up the back end of the boot. Hard on the brakes for the other end of the boot. Then up out of the brakes again to get back onto the main course, a left-hander. Tap the brakes for the left-hander, then switch it back to the right-hander, which is the last corner of the course. Up the gears, and back on the main stretch, and that is a lap at Watkins Glen International.
Through turn 4. Does 24 have enough? It's going to be a drag race to the line. We're going down the front stretch. The 96 wins the race at Coda. Ryan
Alright, here we go. What would this be? It used to be turns 6 and 7.
Yep. It's
I-
like 11 and 12.
Alright, just so we're on the same page. Clearly I'm not very well studied on these road courses. The pace car peels off. Austin, here you go.
As they come down the front straightaway, the green flag is out. We are racing.
And
Someone's
all-
already blown.
Oh, it's Ricky Johnson. And Ricky Johnson is blown up at the start. Not the way they wanted to get this race going. That is a tough break, and it's going to be a really long trek
Yep.
back to the pit lane for the 93. But up front, it is Dan Hummel. He took the lead through the S's. As we head up to the bus stop, we do not have a radio style broadcast this time. Daniel's a little weenie that had to work. Just kidding if you're watching this.
Yeah, it's gone to the boot.
We're into the boot. He's gonna be mad at me when he watches this. And here we go. I believe this is the toe.
Yep. The 43's catching the 25.
Oh man. And keep in mind the 43, if he wins today, he punches his ticket into the championship 4. We documented, of course. And you see there, they make it through that heel of the boot right there. Pretty clean. But we documented... Shoot. Now I lost my train of thought. But it'll come back to me. Perks of doing commentary on no sleep. But here comes Tim Randolph. He can punch his ticket into the championship 4. He had a bad race over at Watkins Glen, so hoping to turn things, or Talladega, so hoping to turn things around here. Oh, now I remember what I was going to say. So the round of 8 is a tricky one. We started out at Talladega. A lot of guys just wanted to survive and advance. Some did, others did not. We have this race, and then we have Martinsville next.
Mhm.
And Martinsville, in the playoffs, probably the most entertaining race of the
Yep.
year, if I had to argue one. Here we go, back into the boot. And right now it looks like it's just follow the leader amongst the top 10 or 15.
Looks like it.
Someone's going to be bold here, I think, and make a move, but it's looking a lot like the Roval did. You see, so far no one's running into the dirt, so that's pretty good. Because I know in Carvana races we've done, they've run into the dirt,
Mhm.
they've hit the guardrails, they've done damage. So yeah, I'm learning more and more why these guys start on the outside lane here.
Yep.
Dan Hummel leads another one. Of course we saw that, of course it's only the front lane usually. I know the All-Stars gonna be doing a choose rule.
Yep.
Something, so that should be interesting. We won't do this in this series because that's a lot of computer work, and I'm pretty sure this game is not capable of that.
Yep.
Here we go, down to the bus stop once again. And I'll tell you a little bit about the region. It's beautiful.
Yes.
We were there last year for the Vintage Grand Prix. And then, of course, if you're down there, you of course got to check out Watkins Glen State Park.
Yep.
I'm actually headed up there this week, so that'll be fun. But yeah, the racetrack was probably the most fun, getting to drive through a tunnel into the infield and yeah, so a lot of fun. Hopefully Cuomo allows the fans in the stands, but again, anything could happen. Here we go. Another thing, we're getting close. Yep, I called it. Pit stops. Down to 35 miles an hour, and that's a tough way to get onto the pit lane. But Tim Randolph will take the lead. Anthony Logan to second. And again, a win by Tim Randolph puts him into the playoffs. And I believe he won the Corona Clash, which is, if you qualify that as one of our races this season, that's the first of 7 road courses. So, I mean, hey, maybe luck will strike here for him. Another thing with this carousel now, with the boot, these guys can run it pretty wide out of the carousel. Of course, before, with the old configuration that we did, if you ran it that wide, you would be in the guardrail. Here we go. Will these guys pit this time?
I'd assume so.
I'd say if they don't and they run out, it's a very, very long trek back to the pit lane. But again, it could be 1 or 2 stop strategy for some of these guys, maybe even 3. Well, actually, it's a pretty short race, so I don't think 3 is in the cards. But 2 stop strategy for sure is in the cards. See some guys committing last second there, and oh, they stack it up, and I think the 88 got hit from behind. As Dan Hummel now out of the bus stop, he will likely take over the race lead. But we got to keep an eye on this 43. Keep in mind, he has led the playoffs pretty much to this entire point. And of course, pit stops here are backward. Another unique characteristic of the track. And the 43 is held up. A slow stop for the 43. And Anthony Logan will go to the lead. We'll see if the 25 can chase him down. See, the 43 there fell back all the way to 5th. They're bumper to bumper there for that one position, and Samet Ozkan is going to pick off 2 of them.
Wow.
And maybe 3. I believe Samet Ozkan, the German driver in the field. And he's having a good run, trying to make it to the championship 4. Up front, I'm guessing these guys that pitted the lap sooner went 4 tires.
Yep.
Because it's very apparent that these guys are a lot quicker. Just look at how close that 25 is. We'll see it as he pulls to the inside. This is a good passing point.
Nope.
No, he just didn't have the run that time. We've now hit halfway. Keep in mind we will have another round of stops most likely.
.42 still in this too.
Yeah, don't rule out the 42 of Chris Smith. He could go for his second win of the season. We'll see him maybe Dan Hummel trying to force that 00 into a mistake. Of course, this is a hometown race for those Western New York Autosport guys, so they want to get to victory lane. And I'm sure Dino wants to take that glorious Wegmans paint scheme to victory lane. But he's gonna have to get by Anthony Logan to make it happen. And it looks like the 00 loses a lot in the boot. And that's where the 25 gains, but he's just not making an aggressive move here. Maybe just trying to play his cards right. Meanwhile, we might have a battle for 4th or 5th on our hands. And it's between the two playoff drivers.
The 18 and the 43.
Oh man. These two have history at Watkins Glen. Not the drivers, but the teams have a history here. And it doesn't look like they're going to kind of battle it out this lap. Up front still. And right there, Anthony Logan's going to kind of pull away. And I'm shocked because those right sides can't be that good right now.
No. I feel like they're gonna pit this time.
I could see the 25 and the 42 doing it. Obviously the 00 pitted a lap later. But the question is, could he be trying to stretch it to the end? Which would be that would be probably the biggest gamble that you could try. And of course I can't imagine he's saving much with that 25 right on his rear bumper.
No.
The 25 slowing down, and the 00's in. Thought the 43 almost stayed out there. 35's in. Someone did stay out. It's the 16 of Tyler Faden. And that's exactly what this colleague team needs, a good run. Someone else stayed out, Rusty Potts and Zach Fitzwater. And if anyone knows the fuel game, it's Zach Fitzwater, winning at Road America. And that was a way bigger course than this one. So don't rule that 4 out of contention. But it also depends on how much he's saved. We look on back and see who else stayed out. Frankly, it's a handful of them. Dan Hummel with an issue on the pit lane. He loses a few spots. Oh, 37's out of fuel. But he's going to get that downhill to keep him rolling.
He got in an accident.
And I think he might have gotten hit. If he didn't hit the guardrail. But he's got to get out of the way. See, these guys can't run it very wide out of the turn there, so they got to watch out for him. Up ahead. We're still green.
Surprisingly.
So it wasn't enough to bring out a full course caution, as Tyler Faden's going to pit. So will the 9 and the 4. Oh, caution's out, and Nonigan Scott's going to lead. I think that's going to be short-lived. The 12 of Tim Horton might have gotten into the back of the 37.
He's out of gas.
Yeah, he's out of gas, and again, this is a big track to be gambling on fuel strategy with. And this will end the race. So let's go see what happened. Again, we were saying how Scott Upton had to get out of the way. And right there, he's in the, you could see he's right in the middle of that racing groove.
Yep.
And it forces everybody to go high. And I think Mina Monroe just misjudges how much room she's got and puts the 12 into the wall.
Oof.
And that is a tough break for Tim Horton. That does bring out our full course caution. As you can see, he was blocking most of the track there. Anyway, we'll take you to the checkers. Here we go through the final corners.
Under caution.
Under caution, not the way we wanted to end it. Anthony Logan. He was a go or go homer entering this race. And that don't matter, because he's about to pull off a huge upset. As he wins at Watkins Glen. I thought I saw the 43 wiggle a little bit, but I think he's good. So congratulations to Anthony Logan. A job well done for them. A win before the end of the season. And he steals some valuable, he steals a valuable win from some of these playoff guys. Yeah, now we head to Martinsville, and that's not going to be a fun race for these guys, I'm sure. But anyway,
it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, we will see what happens. No more road courses this season, unfortunately. That comes to an end, but we still got some entertaining ovals. We got Martinsville, and we got Zenjoltis to go before the end of season number 5. Austin, we want to thank you for joining us again.
It's a pleasure.
And we will see, we're going to show you results and standings, and we will see you for race number 35 at Martinsville. Till then, goodbye everyone.